Americans have always been terrible at geography. At one point, my kids' school, everyone was on strike. There was a teacher strike. So I had the kids at home and I had to teach them at home. So I gathered a few more from their class and I said, I'm going to teach you geography because you don't know anything. At least learn what the continents are, what the major countries in the continents are, what the capitals of those countries are, so you have a sense of the globe. Americans have no sense of the globe. And I think as far as India is concerned, they know nothing. They're learning a little bit about Chinese food. They're learning a little about regional Chinese food. They know a lot about Italian regional foods. They know a lot about French regional foods and regional wines. But India is still a sort of a mystery out there.
Coming from that era, coming from so much history, how do you celebrate India? And how has your family and the legacy celebrated India? I don't know, trick question.
I'm an Indian. I live as an Indian in America. I eat Indian food, but I'm living in America, so I eat other foods as well. I dress sometimes completely like an Indian, but sometimes as a modern Indian who is able to wear anything I want to wear.
So I think there was a built-in resistance to an Indian writer. They don't look at an Indian writer the way they look at an American writer. An American writer can write about anything. They're a food writer, they go learn, and they write about it. An Indian apparently can't learn anything. That has nothing to do with Western food. So I was never allowed to do that, and I remember very early on fighting with her. There was a very well-known young writer who kept writing world vegetarian cookbooks. And I said, why can't I do them? They said, again, my editor said, no, you stick to Asia. She just didn't let me till one day I did it on my own with another publisher. It's just, I couldn't bear it anymore. And these are the kind of things that stood in my way. It's changed now. You're writing about all kinds of things, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
So I think the change is that I didn't even think of myself as a color.
The journey of food has truly inspired an identity of yours. Wouldn't you say that? When you look back at that, what are you the most grateful for?
I'm just grateful for my own curiosity, that I had the curiosity to keep going and explore different aspects of the cultural world. I'm interested in a lot of things. I'm interested in painting, I'm interested in architecture. These are all things that I love, absolutely love. I can't do everything, but I've done some of the things that my instincts tell me that I want to do and love to do.
You know, a lot of young Indian chefs, a lot of young cook authors, they all look up to you. Even Priya, when she was talking so candidly about the connection she has with you. What's that one key advice you like to give to these individuals? In terms of an advice that you wish perhaps you had, or a key advice that you really think has been a determinant to your success?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. This younger lot of people, like Priya and so many others, they don't need any advice from me. They know where they're going. I'm so happy that they're bright young things. They know what's needed.
Right.
They follow their hearts and they're doing amazing things. Some of them are writers. Some of them are cooks, some of them are writers and cooks, some are
bloggers.
Exploring.
Exploring
our history. I just know somebody who recently wrote a wonderful piece on Indians who started coming to Mexico in the 1900s.
Wow.
And married Mexican women and what their food was like. So they're doing amazing stuff. And I have nothing to teach them. They have a lot to teach me. They are wonderful people.
How was this experience for you? And I have to ask you, is the catered market for this cookbook millennials, people like myself who would be using the Instant Pot?
Yes, it is. It is for the younger people, but it's also for older people who don't have too many hours to cook or time to cook or energy to cook. The Instant Pot requires very little energy, that's the thing. So you put everything in the pot, especially if you're making simple things like beans and rice and a simple curry
Right.
or a simple meat dish. All you have to do is assemble all the things, put them in, and push the correct buttons.
That's all.
And that's all. And then you have your meal. It's quite amazing.
A message to this council?
Well, the council's been doing amazing things since I first came to the council.
Wow.
And I hope it will continue, and I'm sure it will continue to do wonderful things for the arts.
You know, sometimes I think that, you know, we blame white people for making turmeric lattes a thing, but, you know, I feel like as an Indian, sometimes I can be, you know, complicit. I don't correct people when they say turmeric. So it's like we, in a way, are perpetuating this. Like my mom started using the word curry because she just kind of gave up. She was like, how else am I supposed to describe this?
I've done that too. Yeah. I have a whole book called Curry because it says if you can't beat them, join them and kill me now. You know, this thoughts come at the same time.
You know, having that success yourself and then interacting with someone like her, what does that do for you?
You know, I feel like Madhur was definitely an early inspiration, not just for me, but for
Yeah.
my mom, who's the co-author of my cookbook.
Right.
Like, she kind of blazed the trail. Without her, without, you know, a big-time author,
Right.
and a big-time publishing company taking a chance on her book so many years ago, someone probably wouldn't have taken a chance on my book in 2017.
Right. What's your take on the Indian food industry here? And especially, what do you think is the American perspective over the years that you've seen when you take a look at Indian food and how it's depicted and perhaps, you know, discuss at this point?
I want to say a little disappointed, and it's one thing I really want to talk
Wow,
about
that's very
tonight.
honest.
It's that, you know, I think there are a lot of really amazing Indian chefs out there, people like Preeti Mistry, people like Marwan Irani, who are doing unbelievable Indian food.
Right.
But I think in general, the American understanding of Indian food is still really limited to
Right.
the word curry, butter chicken, and I feel like we're all working to sort of break through those stereotypes,
Yeah.
but it's taking a lot. Like they've definitely stuck for a long time.
You know, your comment on being an active South Asian American voice, you know, how important do you think that is for us to establish that identity in which everything is normal and included?
I think it's so important. I think one thing I try to draw a distinction of is like, I don't want to speak for every South Asian American. We all have different experiences, but if my very specific experience can resonate with someone, can make someone who's never made Indian food before make Indian food before,
Yeah.
then I'm happy about it.